Hello.
Welcome back in. Yeah, very important. We haven't cut you. You are welcome back for the second half.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So before the break, we were talking about horror and what horror is to all of us. We were talking about series 1 and what that was to all of us. So I guess the next steps, having closed off a successful series, as we see it, is to talk about series 2. What comes next? What could it be? You guys came up to us for the weekend to do the series 1 record. We've come down to you, to Tomebite, to really as a kickoff meeting.
Yeah.
We're here having a nice time, but we've got business to do.
Yeah.
We've got to figure out.
Business.
Yeah. Got to figure out whether or not maybe you want to play for a second series.
Nah.
But we haven't actually.
Not with these guys.
No, right.
Ian's definitely out. He's like, no, I ain't putting my life on the line.
He's like, fool me once.
But yeah, so that's what we're here to do. We're going to be doing that later today, starting to plan that out. So while we're getting into that, I'm sure we've all thought about what series 2 could look like. Does anyone want to kick off? Like, what's hopes, dreams? I think that's hopefully decided. We're going to do one. We're going to do one.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, so we will be doing one. We probably, I think it's safe to say that at least some element of that is that we're going to be doing the stories, the storycast, as we have been now speaking about them for a while. The storycast episodes. Steve's got another book, which we'll come back to. But what else could series 2 be? All of the things that it was and wasn't when we were doing series 1.
I think it's something that what we loosely discussed on a previous call a couple of weeks ago was actually making this an opportunity to bring in even more community.
Yeah.
Right.
We had a lot of people involved in the first series. But take that a step further, quite what that looks like, we need to work out.
Yeah.
But more inclusive of other demographics, other styles of writing, other media, and see where it goes.
Yeah.
I think it's just be exciting just to be able to do series 2, having all the experience and knowledge from doing series 1 as well, and so things we would do differently, we can do differently.
The reason we started Tomebite was very much a case of wanting to do something different and make the content that we want to make, and hopefully people resonate with that and enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
And this was a fantastic start for that.
Gina and I were chatting once we were kind of wrapping up doing the last bits of voice acting and stuff. We were kind of just talking about how fun it was and how cool it's been, because we didn't necessarily have a plan to do this kind of thing specifically,
No,
the audio thing, but it actually turned out really fun, and the results were really, really cool. It kind of, I don't know, broadened our horizons a bit as well, more possibilities in the future.
And audio as a format is wonderful because it's so accessible as well. It's such an accessible thing. The video is where we've started, and obviously we've got the films coming out later in the year for Everyday Artisans. But it's a much more. You have to wait for the right weather. You have to wait for the right timings. Everything just takes a long time. The nice thing about audio is you can go, I want to make this thing. Nothing gets in the way except yourself.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I suppose for the listener as well. I mean, we talked earlier about not this not being a radio play.
Yeah.
But I like that people can access these story casts. Just by the pod platforms.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anyone can listen to this anywhere for free at any point.
Yeah.
That's a really positive thing, and certainly with we've also talked before about the values of Tomebite and what you really want to do. That really aligns. Access to this kind of content, easy access to this kind of content. That's an amazing thing to be able to carry over.
Yeah.
Again to next series, and for you to be able to deliver as a production outfit as well. I really like the idea of picking up some of the bits we didn't do in series 1. A bit of what we were talking about before the break. what is horror to people. That's also a community topic. Being able to have more conversations like this, where we are picking some of the stories that you've written and maybe discussing some of the themes around those. Could we delve more into culture and politics and philosophy and society and impact, and where horror fits into that, whether that is through entertainment or whether that is through art. Like there's so many different threads, I suppose, that we could pull.
It's a particularly turbulent time for the arts as a whole right now. The way that things are going in media, obviously AI is wrapped into all of that and is worth a whole conversation in and of itself.
That's an episode right there.
And traversing all of that's quite difficult for creatives at the moment. And for us, Tomebite was really set up as we want to be a powerhouse for empowering creatives to create. I'd like to feel like we've done that quite well to begin with.
Elevating creatives. Done it.
And we want to just keep going with that. And turn it into more.
Make it bigger and better. And
exactly that.
I like the idea of diving deeper and really picking horror apart. And
because it's such an easy thing to assume is quite surface level. And quite sort of, in a way, quite shallow. Like like we were talking about. It's blood, guts, splat, all that sort of stuff. But it's so
to the uninitiated, that's all it looks like.
Totally.
The horror community is it's a strong community. But as you say, like the people that don't, they think it's just scares and blood and guts. Let's pick it apart and make that interesting to people outside of the horror community. Let's open our community and let other people in and make it accessible. And say some of the stories they're horrible, but they're not horror.
Right.
Like episode 4, it, as you said, it's not horror.
No.
The horror comes from the struggle with
the real life horror.
Your experience when you listen to it or read it.
And we all have that. Like we all have those internal struggles, and that can be really hard sometimes, and that is horrific. More of that kind of thing. As well as the blood and guts, because that's good.
Very nice.
We got to keep everyone pleased.
It's one of the beauties of the genres. You can go as shallow or as deep as you want. There's such a vast array of possibilities where, like you said, you can just
just
like
dig
that.
into that and make something
100%.
cool.
Ask some people that know what they're talking about.
Bring
them in.
some more.
Oh, I am.
What about you, Ian? So this is obviously we're back to the very first conversation, really. So we've got an idea for a podcast. What should we do? What do you reckon? Because you had a pretty good steer the first time round. We should listen to this guy.
Just want to be in it.
I just want to, I just want to be in it. I want my acting David to be realised.
I don't want to get cut.
So simple.
To be honest, really, introducing that as an idea way back when, and I didn't even think about the possibilities of after a season 1, or even doing a season 1. So the fact that we're having this conversation around season 2, and that's going to happen at some point in the future is really exciting. To be back in that process of reading SP's work again and visualising that and having something to look forward to being involved in, for me, is because I'm very much more a bit more in the shadows. If we're keeping it with the horror themes, I'm in the shadows, I'm in the background, and supporting all you guys as much as I possibly can, and being part of the conversation. Just to know that season 2 is coming in the future is just really, really exciting. And just to be a part of that with you guys, because you're incredible creatives. So to be just to be in this room is amazing for me. So.
Because it's your living room and you're very comfortable there. But I mean, it's cool that you're still happy to be involved because you've got your own projects. We touched on it earlier. You've got the Ratings Right podcast that people can also listen to. That's also film. Do you want to?
So the Rating is Right is my other project that I created and I host with 2 family members, I guess, but also good friends, Owen Cox and George Robinson. and it's essentially a film game show podcast. Essentially, I wanted to create something that was fun, and regardless of your level of knowledge with film, it's something that everyone can kind of listen and get involved with. So we talk about a particular set of films, but in that it's a game show where Owen and George are trying to score points and guessing the rating of an actual film based on the site Metacritic. So I host that, and they get points for getting right and wrong answers. We talk about film, but that's like my main project. We're all quite busy people, so we don't always get to record as much as possible. So to have this as well, like not in the background, but on the side as well, to be involved in, just kind of keeps my creative brain ticking along. Because it's been years where I've been a bit inactive. So just to kind of have a constant and something to kind of be on, it just helps me massively. Being around other people like yourself just inspires me and just helps me out a lot. Like having these kind of conversations, doing the podcast and doing this project, it just like makes my life so much better. So I don't know how like some people don't do creative things, but when I do it and I have such a good time, I'm like, how have I not been doing this as much as possible? So just to be involved is just amazing. So
and I guess for all of us, these are all sort of different portions of each of our lives. Tomebite, this is your full time. We're not your full time, but this work is your full time, and SP, this is your full time. Writing is everything, and those things play such a different role. Whatever the proportion is in your life, they play different roles and they benefit in different ways. And like Ian, it's wonderful to hear that Moira is in the room with you.
I was really hoping you couldn't pick her up.
It's really wonderful
She would like to be involved and maybe not cut.
Okay.
I think she's more of a on-camera kind of actor.
Definitely.
I don't think she'd just be one for audio.
She's got a pretty house.
She's got the fur for radio.
Yes. Love that.
I don't.
I'd like to point out Moira's not my geriatric nan that's in my room. She's my cat. So she's a very old lady now.
Very old lady. But it's cool to hear that you benefit, I suppose emotionally, from being involved. And we love that you're involved as well. Very pleased to hear that you.
It made him feel good. Imagine when we don't cut him. How good are you gonna feel? That's just gonna be like the best thing in the world.
I'm gonna be like one of the Oscars, one of the BAFTAs. I've got to get a suit. I'll be getting very carried away with myself.
You're gonna thank your family and your friends.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. They're like, yeah.
So. We have worked with one of your books. Yep. Tis the Season to be Gory.
Yep.
Still available.
It is, yes.
Bye.
Buy my book.
And just in case anybody doesn't know, there are significant differences between the audio adaptations that you can hear and what's in the book.
Totally different. They are the same stories. Adapted, they are adapted.
You can't.
So you will get a different experience.
You can't read along.
No, definitely not. No. I think somebody did try that and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Obviously. We had Tis the Season to be Gory.
Yep.
Series 1. That's a book. So we're moving into Series 2. Should we have the opportunity to do another story cast? You have probably thought about what that could look like.
Oh yes.
Can you give us a little?
Yeah, I'm currently working on a new collection. It's a collection that's based on, each story is based around a film or a movie that inspired me as a younger kid. They're all stories, that are from films that inspired me to write. Each story will be different again, not just as we said, not just gore and blood and guts, but the emotion and stuff like that. And some of them will, you'll probably recognise some of the references, and there's quite a few Easter eggs and stuff. So if you're a movie fan, then you will definitely kind of get the connection.
Ears just.
Yeah, and this one you were like, don't talk about movies.
Yes. Yeah, no choice. Going to be talking about movies. Good.
All movies.
Okay, it's gonna be really tricky. No, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm still working on them and still writing them, and there's got to be a lot of work to get them done. But they're getting there.
It'd be virtually impossible to separate you two from talking about
Moving
making
magic.
a movie now. For goodness sake. Ganging up.
I'm working on this book. I have already found 3 that I was like, if that was a movie, if that was a movie, So
okay,
we will talk about that at some point.
Yeah, and undoubtedly later on this evening. Cool. That sounds really cool.
Yeah,
very exciting.
So, I mean, we really haven't talked about Series 2 yet, as a group, and that really is why we're down here.
Yeah.
That's not what we're going to be talking about right now,
No,
because
that's later, right?
there's so much that comes before. We've got to talk about.
That's over a game of Alien Isolation.
Yes, we will be talking about format and people that are going to be involved and all the gory stuff like money and timescales. But obviously we're not going to chat about that now. But it's cool to get an indication about what it thematically might end up being. This is the first time that Gene and Toby would have heard
I've
you
asked to
talking
not
about
know
that
anything
collection.
about it intentionally until you're willing to give me info.
All I know is that I wanted to do a season 2.
Right.
And
Ooh,
that's
okay.
so fast. So that's is very
that's
exciting news.
Yeah. And what do you think, director, at the idea of doing something that's film based but for audio, like even more heavily?
This is what I mean by sort of expanding it one way or another. I don't quite know what that looks like, but I'm here for the journey all the way through.
Yeah. Ride the lightning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's going to be fun to build that, right? Like,
and we're going to make a movie.
We are.
The Crawl, for example, should be a movie.
It should be, yeah.
It will be a movie.
Maybe. For goodness sake.
It's like said it now.
Why doesn't Robbyn like movies?
I love movies, but every time we try and have a productive conversation, it's like these two just keep on getting all excited about making a movie. It's like, no, you must finish this initial project. You're not allowed to make a movie until you've finished Series 1, and we finished Series 1. It's like, we've got Series 2 to do.
Maybe Series 2 is the movie.
Maybe.
That sounds more like
Who knows?
Series.
Maybe do that.
Just
my God.
Tomebite have time in their year to just throw in making a Finchland
Yes.
film. What's coming up for you guys? What's next on the cards for you?
Everyday Artisans is coming out.
Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so we wanted to create 3 short films that highlight skills and things that we care about, like local shops and independent family businesses, things that are dying out, basically. One of them is about a local vinyl store run by a man called Steve McGuinness, who is an absolute legend of a man.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
So that's the first one that you'll see. And you can learn a little bit more about the other 2 on the Tomebite website, but I don't want to give away too much information on those at this point. But it all revolves around supporting community and keeping art and skills that are tactile and human running in a world that is quickly binning them.
Like professions that are kind of dying out. People that work with their hands.
The arts doesn't end at music or poetry. It's far more than that. Blacksmiths, for example, is an art form. Blacksmithing is an art form. We're not doing a movie about that just yet, but that's on the list.
It's a really good point, actually, to kind of consider creativity outside of the entertainment and art spaces. So we've got a guy that lives locally to us who's a clog maker. We live in the Peak District, so there's a lot of heaving up some rocks and rebuilding walls that have collapsed and things. You see that quite a lot around our area because there's so many of them. That, like, those two things, you wouldn't be like, that creative skill of building a wall, but actually there's so much knowledge.
It's fascinating when you see them doing it.
It's very hard to do.
For sure.
Yeah, so I can see like why that would be interesting for you to kind of delve into more like left field.
It's good because like we're making stuff that, I mean, from the beginning we said we want to make stuff that we want to make. Right. So the stuff we're filming, it interests us personally as well, which really, really helps to like engage with the people we're working with. It's good fun. It can be challenging, but it's good fun.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah,
very cool.
And the final note on that is, in the same way that this project involved a lot of creatives and people, those projects do as well. You know, it's full team of production crew going out and filming this, and it's different in different places. It's brilliant to just work with lots of different creatives to make something really cool.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
It's all community focused.
Yeah, that's really
That's
cool.
very cool. It's a nice way to think that society could be. There's so much emphasis on direction and progress, and you know, as individuals, and us all developing our careers and single focus and or we could take the approach of doing things that
you go further together. It is true.
Yeah.
This is probably a good time for us to break and now go and properly talk about what's going to happen with Series 1. We've got a lot of work to do. But before then, thank you so much. You guys have, at Tomebite, have really properly made dreams come true, actually, this year. And it's been such a joy to work with all four of you and everybody else who has been involved. And, really excited about what might come next. Before then, Tomebite website, in 2026 we're going to see Everyday Artisans documentaries landing, so we'll keep an eye on that. And SP, there will be another book out this year to be announced. Check out the Ratings Right podcast as well with Ian and Owen and George, and watch this space. We'll be back in 2026 with more. Just with more. More.
I don't know what's going on.
Lovely. Right, chaps. Let's go and do some work.